Our topic for today is art as humanistic discipline for Module 1. So we have 4 lessons here: understanding humanities, the humanities in Western civilization, the humanities and the Filipino personhood or pagkatao, and the Filipino concept of art. So for the chapter view, sinasabi dito na sa panahon natin ngayon, no, very popular ang Facebook, ang TikTok, ang YouTube, di ba? And kung sa Facebook, lagi tayo nagla-like kung gusto natin or love, uh, especially pagka magaling yung pagkakagawa ng isang graphic design. So, this is very popular nowadays, especially sa mga artworks. May mga tutorial tayo dyan, may mga do it yourself or DIY. At ito ay makikita, no, sa iba't ibang pamamaraan. Uh, it exposed to a wide range of art techniques. So, yung information ay easily accessible now. But the problem is, no, the downside of that is kalat-kalat ito. Hindi natin alam kung ano yung priority natin or ano yung line ng thought nito or how it came to that point na this is art. So, dito sa ating pag-aaral, no, sa art appreciation, sa kursong ito, ida-direct tayo doon sa tamang pamamaraan ng pag-analyze ng art, what is art, and what should be our feelings or impression regarding to such art na makikita natin. So when you say humanity, since this is module 1, no, with regards to humanity, diyan natin ililink yung art. But before that, yung humanity sinasabi dito, it consists of different interpretation, no? During the time of the Middle Ages, they believe that when you say human, meron din lower than the standard human din, no? We have the barbarians and slave, no? Excluded naman siguro dyan yung dogs, goldfish, and literally yung mga animals na nakikita natin. So, during the Middle Ages, they also have this belief that aside from human, meron din natawag na human o superhuman. Yan. So, pumasok dyan yung different ideas ng status or state ng tao. And doon pumasok yung idea ng humanity or humanitas. According to Panofsky, sabi dito, when you say humanism, it is maintaining, or it describes as maintaining a rationality and freedom while still keeping in mind our own fallibility and frailty. So, during the process of understanding, no, so nandyan yung idea ng rationality and freedom, but still, hindi naman natin sinasabing perfect tayo. Meron pa rin talaga tayong room para masabi natin na tayo ay merong pa ring lacking, because there is always this changes, no, every time there's a different period, no, that arise. So dito sa panahon ng Middle Age, yun ang idea nila, and then pumasok din yung idea ng Renaissance o yung rebirth. Yan, pumasok din yun during the 14th and 16th century. So doon makikita natin yung progress ng ating kasaysayan, no? Paano pumasok diyan yung iba't ibang filosofiya sa larangan ng humanity or pagkatao kung sa ating sariling lengguwahe. Okay, lesson 1, understanding humanities. Sabi nito, we have to know we have to survey the place of the humanities in the history of Western and Eastern civilization. Number 2, distinguish the humanities and the sciences as fields of learning. So there's a question here. Among all these pictures, which do you think gives the right description of the crucifixion of Christ? In your own understanding, meron dito mga picture. So, in your own belief. Wala naman sigurong tama at mali dito, no? This is an assignment. So at the end of this module, meron kayong makikita doon na na question sa assignment niyo. So ito yung isang unang tanong, which do you think gives the right description? Okay? So explain and answer. Okay, dito sa time ng Renaissance and Humanism, since naisabi ko kanina na when you say Renaissance, it means rebirth. During the 14th and 16th century, pumasok yung learning ng Greek and Roman culture. Yung Greek and Roman culture is a very long time na civilization. It's almost 1,500 years before, or more than 1,500 years kung i-compare natin yung Greek, no? Yung Greek. So from that time of the Greek and the Roman, pumasok yung iba't ibang learning and philosophy with regards to humanism. So it was rekindled, no, during the time of the Renaissance or 14th, 16th century. Now when you say humanism, it means an optimistic outlook emphasizing the goodness and success of humanity. So it started in Europe. During that time, ang paniniwala ng mga tao ay seems laganap ang Christianity during that time. So nagkaroon ng enlightenment, rebirth, learning again of this humanistic philosophy. It started in England, okay, in the north part of Europe, Germany and Scandinavia. And then pumasok din yung Christian humanism. Yung Christian humanism ay kung dati ang paniniwala ay tayo ay makasalanan, no? People are sinners. It focuses more on the divinity, the salvation, the damnation. Okay? But during the Renaissance, ang focus naman sa Christianity, or especially doon sa kay Jesus, is more of the mortal man, no? Including his teaching, relationship, and experiences, culminating with the execution via crucifixion. So, meron na silang another perspective about Christianity due to what you call Christian humanism. So, gradual na nag-process yan, no? Gradual na grow yung paniniwala, the philosophy itself, and then it is reflected, no? It was reflected in art. Kaya makikita nyo later on na yung art ay nagbabago sa bawat period. Okay? So sabi dito, artists influenced by Christianity humanism, however, depicts Jesus tightly twisted in agony, no? But later on, ito ay it's more of the joy. Okay? It's more of the perspective na yung na-achieve ni Christ, no? The sacrifice na nakapagbigay ng ng kapayapaan, kaligtasan sa sangkatauhan. Yan. So when you say art, no, dito, at least you have the idea na it started during the time of the Renaissance, the idea of humanism, because during the time of the Greek and the Romans, no, before the rebirth or the Renaissance, part ng kanilang culture yung art is always part of their learning. So itong art ngayon, if we're going to define it now sa time natin ngayon, according to Webster, the conscious use of skill and creative imagination, especially in the production of aesthetic objects. So different period has different aesthetic style. May iba't iba silang imagination of what they perceive about what is beautiful, what is art. Okay, so it is uniquely tied to human, yung art, no? it is tied directly to culture. So kung ano yung art mo, doon nagre-reflect yung kultura mo. It takes the ordinary and makes it extraordinary. Yan, it asks questions about who we are, what we value, the meaning of beauty, and the human condition. So, inherent yan sa isang civilization, sa isang kultura, no, sa tao, at sa iba't ibang kapanahonan. It is an expression, no, as an expressive medium, it allows us to experience sublime joy, deep sorrow, confusion, and clarity. It also tests our strengths, vulnerabilities, and resolve. It gives voice to ideas and feelings, connects us to past. No, marami tayong napaghuhugutan sa panahon ngayon. Yan ay nakikita na natin. Yan. So yan ay visually, no, it reflects your personal opinion, your personal emotion, no, the way how you share your wholeness. It's not just your emotion, no, your intellect, and all part of that. So that is what you call how you make it valuable as a human, yung art. Now, let's look on the framework and perspective ng learning. So we have here science and humanities. In the fields of learning, we have the sciences and humanities. Since tayo ay nasa art appreciation, no, when you say humanities, no, in the field of art appreciation, no, we also have this language, history, art, and philosophy. So in the field of art naman, we have the art as creator or the artist or the one who practice it. And then we have the spectator or the one who gives the idea, who gives the theory, who provides us the information. So does not mean that these two fields of learning is have their own virtue, their own style or approaches. Does not mean they are not interconnected, no. They actually complements. Nagko-complement naman diyan sila. It provides us knowledge, no? If science is as mastery, sabi dito, so humanities is wisdom. So dito sa two general fields of learning, when you say science, it deals with natural and physical phenomena, and then in humanities, it deals with human phenomena. So if science is knowing the world, knowing creating scientific method, okay, knowing the object, how to create a specific, precise way of knowing what is in the world. Sabi dito, the scientist learns about things in the world. Sa humanities naman, it is a reflection, no? It's reflexive. Kaya tinatawag natin philosophy. The subject or the knower is equals to object known. The human tries to learn about self. Yan, the humanities learns about the self. Kaya nga dumalating yung tanong, since tayo ay we want to excel personally sa ating pagkatao, there's this basic question in humanities: who am I? Sino ba ako? Ano ba ako? Try to click this link so that at least you have some idea, no? What is this question all about? Now, let's continue. So during the time of the Greeks, we have these great thinkers whose thoughts were the basis of methods in the humanity. So yung tanong kanina na who am I, there was already this question of know thyself according to Socrates during 469 to 399 BC, okay, before Christ or BCE. So sa panahon noon, sa Greece, no, there was this letter, no, isang nakasulat, naka-carve dun sa stone, dun sa entrance ni Apollo, sa temple ni Apollo, sa Delphi in Greece. Yan, nakalagay yung tanong na yan. And then, it is a question na para hanapin kung ano yung kasagutan. So, sino ba tayo? I think sa panahon nun, there's already this question, saan ako nagmula? Ano ako? Paano ako naging ganito? Paano ako naging tao? Yan. So, know thyself. Now, according to Augustine naman, no, sabi dito, withdraw into yourself, truth dwells in the inner man. So, dumating din yung yung iba't ibang mga philosophers trying to achieve, no, self-knowledge. Yan. So, ito yung mga philosophers noong time na yun, no? Dito naka-include yung cultural, political, economic, and ideological norm ng self-knowledge. Yan. Na ito ay nag-flourish during the time sa western part ng mundo. So even during the time of Sigmund Freud, no, sabi niya, yung civilization is constantly being created anew and everyone being born has to work their way up to being civilized. Being so, also the project of achieving self-knowledge is a project for every single new member of our species. So, nag-ano tayo nag-i-evolve tayo. Na-recreate ulit tayo dun sa mga idea na natutunan natin, and then ini-explore natin, and then yung known variable o yung isang bagay na napatunayan natin na discover natin, na naalis na natin yung mga dati no na nawala na yung kanyang value, no, it ano siya, nag-upgrade. Kung baga sa cellphone, nag-upgrade siya. Yan. So mas ano na siya, mas complicated na siya kung sa panahon natin ngayon. Pero ang sabi dito ni Sigmund Freud, no, hindi natin ito maa-achieve, no. It is not no one can be given it at birth. Ini-explore natin ito palagi. It's not an achievement you get for free like a haiku or a permanent chin. Continuing to beat that drum to remind people of the importance of that is something we'll always be doing. Lagi natin itong ginagawa. Lagi natin itong laging part ito ng katanungan sa atin bilang isang tao. Okay. So, kagaya kanina dun sa illustration, no? Kung ang science is knowledge, the scientist becomes a learned man. Sa humanities naman is wisdom, the humanities becomes a wise man. So, you become a learned man or you become a wise man. But you can also be both, di ba? So, sa ating pag-aaral na to, you can be both also. So, we also have this philosopher, no, si Thales of Miletus. Sabi niya dito, a scientist tends to know everything about the world that he forgets to know anything about himself. O, sana hindi gano'n, no, sa atin, na sobrang naging abala tayo sa lahat ng bagay, nalimutan na natin yung sarili natin. We want to achieve everything, we want to work hard because we want to help our family, pero nalimutan natin yung sarili natin. Si Thales is a philosopher at the same time trying to explore what is science. So, yun ang meron sa kanya. Kaya nga meron siya mga tanong dito, what is the basic material of the cosmos? Pero sa panahon natin ngayon, sinasagot siya ng siyensya. They have their own ideas with regards to the basic matter that creates the universe. Sabi nila, it's antimatter. Sabi nila, it's the hydrogen, okay, the basic element. So, maraming sagot na yet kailangan pa ring explore deeper. So, there's a question still. We also have this Eastern philosopher Confucius. Si Confucius naman ay nabuhay before the time of Socrates, even before the time of Jesus. So, ang sabi nga dito sa isang philosophy niya. If you can receive the ancient and use it to understand the modern, then you are worthy to be a teacher. So there is always what you call revival, 'di ba? Yung mga natutunan mo ng mga nakaraan, ginagamit mo siya na application sa panahon ngayon. Kino-context mo yan, kino-contextualize mo yan. Yan. So ito ay nag-flourish, no, sa iba't ibang bahagi ng Asia. We have Japan, Korea, Vietnam, and North, and now Western civilization. So nakilala na rin si Confucius. He is known to be the great sage, wise man of the East. So at least alam na natin ngayon yung sagot, no? Who am I? In the process of knowing who you are, di ba? Or humanities, the answer is I am a human being. So much for lesson 1. So let's go to lesson 2, the humanities in Western civilization. So we're going to examine the history of art as humanistic discipline. So pansin niyo sa Western civilization, nagsimula ang known record ng kasaysayan, ng philosophy nila, culture nila, even their art. So, yung influence nila, pumasok yan dito sa Eastern because as Filipino, no, from the East, no, tayo ay Asians. We are not in that category of recording, aside from the Chinese, no. Ang Chinese kasi meron yan silang mga recording kahit na they are from the East. Sa atin kasi sinasalin yan, hindi yan, kumbaga kinikwento lang, hindi naman talaga siya sinasalin. O kung meron man known record, wala na tayong ngayon. Kung meron man mga sinulat noon, hindi na natin makikita yung mga records na yan sa panahon ngayon. Now, there's a question here. How many moral ideas can you get from these pictures, no? In the context of the Western ideas. So, may makikita kayo ditong iba't ibang pictures. Ito ba ay nakasunod sa panahon natin ngayon? Can you determine what is this? Yan. This is a Western view. Pansinin niyo yung babae na naninigarilyo, mayroon siyang bandage, yung kanyang mayroon parang nakalagay na broken heart. Okay, cocaine. Meron dito yung vengeance. Okay, this is abortion. So as you can see, no, the art itself tells something about about their view, yung kanilang paniniwala, or what is actual happening, no, sa kanilang sa time nila na yan. So also this one. So I think this is sa mga newspaper. Okay? This is one painting na binago lang para makapag-create siya ng mai-relate siya sa during that time nung ginawa ito, including also this one. Yan, to yung nasa lower right. Okay, so try to answer, no, what moral ideas can you get from this picture, which is also on your assignment. Okay, ang introduction dito for lesson 2, sabi dito, nakapag-try na ba kayo na gumawa ng isang time lapse? Halimbawa, magluluto kayo. Normally nagluluto yan yung madalas ko nakikita sa YouTube ngayon, or meron silang mga DIY yan. So marami tayong pamamaraan, no, to satisfy, no. There is something satisfying in seeing this process sa mga ginagawa ng mga ganitong high-tech na mga na recording or sa mga programs. And these are skills na nire-require. And this is what you call artwork. So, later on, sa sumunod na mga modules, you're going to create this time lapse also. So itong mga arts na to is part of humanity, no, yung pinag-aralan natin nung previous lesson. So it includes visual arts such as painting, sculpture, as well as performing arts such as theater and dance and literature. There also meron din tayong language. It can be considered also as part of art. Yan. So sa ating mga university activities, meron tayong mga competition with regards to language also. So that is part of the art, no? Performing arts. So in the study of humanity sa Western civilization, ito nga na i-trace back siya sa ancient Greece, no? Na ito ay nagkaroon ng rebirth during the Renaissance. At yung mga tinuturo nila, no, during that time, even during the ancient time or the ancient Rome, they have the 7 liberal arts. We have the grammar, rhetoric, logic, music, geometry, arithmetic, and astronomy. So these are the 7 important things na inaano nila, na tinuturo nila as part of the education. Now there are questions here, no? The relationship of arts and humanities. So sabi ito, what comes to your mind when you hear the word humanities? So at least we already have the idea that it has something to do with human nature, people, relationship, and understanding others. These are branches of knowledge, kagaya kanina. And then, is humanities and arts are the same? Kaya sabi ito, arts and humanities are considered as two of the oldest fields of knowledge available to man. While art is seen as a more of all-inclusive field, humanities, on the other hand, takes into consideration a diverse and oftentimes unrelated sets of discipline from literature to political history. So, yung humanities kasi, siya yung driving force para doon sa sa isang culture o sa isang civilization. And then art is the manifestation. Yan, nakikita yan. So, yan yung mga remains nung mga nung kasaysayan na meron nung panahon na yon. Kaya marami kayong makita dito sa ating pag-aaral na iba't ibang mga arts na ito yung kanilang pamamaraan ng paggawa as a reflection of their philosophies and ideas. So, what is the importance of arts and humanities? It is central to all human cultures through time. No? Bahagi siya lagi. They can also prepare you to think critically, act creatively, and succeed in rapidly changing world. So it's important kasi we have this global community. So tayo ba ay nakaka-adjust dito sa global community now? The philosophy, the arts that we have, the culture that we have. So this is part of that, no? Both interpret human experience through words or non-verbal forms of expression. Meron din natawag na non-verbal form of expressions. Kaya yung mga emojis yun yan, no? Those are non-verbal forms of expression. It's true that the arts have more to do with the act of creating itself, whether to performance or the physical production of works, while the humanities have to do more with research and critical analysis. So, why art is called humanities? The arts are usually considered as part of humanities. This include visual arts, kagaya kanina. So, at least nasagot na to kanina, no? Meron na tayong doon. Kasagutan doon sa 7 liberal, no? Tama ba? Yan. 7 liberal arts. Yan. Okay, how the arts and humanities affects everyday life? Does that affects everyday life? So, ang sabi dito, the humanities have practical application for everyday life. They benefit people by helping them to think about and to consider life's surprises and challenges. So, since evolving naman tayo, no, growing tayo, it helps us to think about or considers life surprises. Um, Yun ang nagbibigay sa atin ng ng benefits. Nakapag-isip tayo nung how we cope up with these life surprises and challenges bago ito dumating, no? Before they happen, and by giving strength when they do happen. So that is how we reflect. That is how that is the byproduct of our expression. The humanities helps us to make informed decisions. The humanities helps us answer big questions. So, meron tayong tinatawag na pinaka-foundation ng ating philosophy o yung background ng ating karunungan sa mga natutunan natin. Like for example, sa panahon natin ngayon, no, saan natin pinaghuhugutan yung ating pundasyon ng ating prinsipyo, 'di ba? Sa ating mga magulang, sa community, sa paaralan, 'di ba? So, through them, doon naman tayo humahanap ng way para express natin yung ating kasagutan o how we respond to it. So, that is what you call life surprises and challenges. So, it helps us to answer big question. Now, next question, how does art and humanities function in society? Sa panahon natin ngayon, no, it helps us. Kasi when you say humanities, no, na it's more of the philosophy, it becomes arts and humanities research is useful because it gives societies the capacity to do more good things and improve the quality of life for more of its population. A good example yung halimbawa nakakita kayo ng isang picture doon sa Facebook. So pwede kayong mag-react doon. Sabihin natin may isang taong nangangailangan ng tulong. So nang makita mo na talagang isang pangangailangan siya, share mo siya. 'Di ba? That's how you respond. So yung mga ganung yung mga ganung pamamaraan ay when you share things, people responds. And then it becomes part of the research. Okay? Natututunan ng society kung paano gumawa, ma-improve yung quality ng life. Yan. So, kung meron ka man ginawang isang maganda, gagayahin nila. Kung may nakita kang isang pangit, hindi nila gagayahin, pwede rin lang gayahin. Parang ganon. Okay, let's continue. So, ang sabi dito ni Panofsky, he considers art as humanistic discipline, just like kanina, no? So, when you say humanitas or humanities, in Latin is humanitas, no? We have three states, sabi dito. We have the divinitas, humanitas, and barbaritas. So, when you say divinitas, God in the state of perfection in heaven. When you say humanitas, people in the state of culture in civilized society. And then barbaritas means savage in the state of nature for survival. So, yung kaninang overview, binibigyan tayo ng idea na ang humanitas, no, nagkaroon siya ng ganitong state. So nagkaroon sila ng paniniwala ng may subhuman or barbaritas or slaves. They also have this belief of kung merong regular na tao, meron din sigurong super na tao. So can you consider Jesus Christ as superhuman? Okay, sa divinitas, no, 'di ba? God in the state of perfection in heaven or human. So sa panahon natin ngayon, meron din ba tayong ganung paniniwala? Now let's look on the place of humanities in the history of Western civilization. So we have different views. So itong mga view na ito, naka-incorporate din yan doon sa mga arts nila. So during the ancient time, 800 BC, they have this cosmocentric view. So kay Protagoras, sabi niya dito, man is the measure of all things. And this is the idea of geocentrism, or man is at the center of the universe. And we have also the medieval time, or during the 300 AD, and this is a theocentric view. So sa mga scholastics or scholasticism, this is their belief that man is created in the image of God, or man is at the center of creation. So yan yung paniniwala nila, and then yun din yung kanilang um, expression, no, through art. During the Renaissance, 14th century, dito pumasok yung anthropocentric view or humanism. Nothing is more wonderful than man. So ang focus nito is about man. Then comes the modern. We have it during the 16th century, or what you call it, scientific technocentric view. Man is a part of nature. And then we have the postmodern or the eclectic view, and ang paniniwala na man is a piece of everything. So ito yung isang diagram nila pagdating doon sa, siguro it's a sort of science, no? Earth is a man, okay? Is the center of the universe. Yan. So hindi pa nila alam kung ang mundo nun ay bilog. So ito yung tao. So ang lahat na yan ay naka-evolve dito. But we know that sun is the center of the solar system, di ba? This is during the time of Ptolemy, 100 or 170 AD. Yan. So ito yung beliefs nila from that period. And then another expression of art during this period of the medieval time, or theocentric man, or man is created by God. We have Adam and Eve, no? Dito nakadepict yung idea ng creation of man. Ito yung lalaki, ito yung babae. Then this is a picture, no, during the 10th century by Escorial Beatus from the illuminated manuscript. Yan. Then there's also this another artwork during this period, or during the Renaissance time, the image of man, or the anthropocentric man, measures of all things, by Leonardo da Vinci, or the Vitruvian man. Yan. Dito yung may sukat. Para mo malaman kung perfect ka, may sukat yon, yung isang perfect na tao. We also have this one. This is still an anthropocentric view, or the anthropocentric man during the Renaissance. Okay, the image of man is the image of God. Man is the measure of God. So if there's God, to measure God, it's based upon man, no? Yung man ang basihan. So this is one artwork of Michelangelo. Ang title is The Creation of Man, na makikita sa Sistine Chapel painting sa Rome. And we also have this Copernicus, or the revolution of celestial bodies. Still ganun pa rin, okay? Remove man from the center of the universe and suggest the view man was special in the universe. So this is a heliocentric view. Ito naman yung another one, o another period, the evolution of man. Dito pumapasok sila Darwin, Charles Darwin, modern image of scientific technocentric man. Man is a part of nature, no? Nag-evolve ang tao. So kasama din dito yung science, di ba? As you can see, yung artwork ni Rembrandt dito, The Anatomy Lesson of Dr. Turf, during 1642. Ang medicine nun ay batang-bata pa. Pinag-aaralan pa nila, dinadissect pa nila yung mga cadaver nun, yung mga patay. Yan. So this is one artwork, no? Then we also have this artwork of Legazpi, a Filipino artist, entitled A Gadget, 1947. But this artwork is modern image of scientific technocentric man. And the title, the idea here is man is dehumanized during the industrial age. Because during this time, no, nandun pa sa process na industrial age. Kaya para silang gear. Then we have 2011 by Medio Cruz. The title is Politismo or Many Gods from the exhibit titled Kulo. We call it an installation art. Still an art because it's an installation art. And this is a postmodern image of eclectic man. No? Pinagsama-sama sila. Kaya ang tawag dito ay man is a piece of everything. Ngayon, pansin nyo, ang daming tao. Yan. So, when you say humanistic discipline, no? With regards to the definition of history, language, philosophy, and art, so these are the definitions. Human events happening in the world. When you say history, we say language, written and oral forms of human communication. We say philosophy, human reasons concerning a reality. And we say art. We have the one who admires or the art appreciation of human-made objects. And we have the human creativity or the art creation by which these objects are made. So we also have this arts, no? Ang Latin nito is ars. And during the Renaissance time, they have this division. Meron tinatawag ng dalawang groups. We have the liberal arts or the servile art. Yung kinikilala na talagang artist and then the artisans. So when you say artist, ito yung mga professional na nakapag-aral or you call it major art. And then we also have this artisan or craft. Sila yung mga minor arts. Sila yung mga stone cutter, carpenter, yung mga hindi nakatapos. Siguro sa panahon natin ngayon, matawag natin ng mga nag-aaral sa TESDA na hindi nakakuha lang 4 years. So parang gano'n, no? Still, doon naman ang galing yung idea na yan from the West. And then, their concept of art ay academic. Yan, yung mga artists, no, when you say elite, when you say liberal arts, ito yung mga nakatapos, yung mga nakapag-aral lang. Sila yung mga elite. Sila yung mga may kaya, yung mga nasa higher social status or social class. May hierarchy na tinatawag. So, aside from the liberal, meron yung mga servile art, no? Sila yung mga nasa mababa. Sila yung mga fine and practical art, folk art, indigenous art, or popular art. So sa Western, ito yung classification ng arts. No? We have the major and the minor art. When you say major, made by artists, primarily concerned with the form of beauty. But when you say minor art or craft, ito yung mga artisans, no? Yung mga servile. It concerns with the functionality. Take note of this word, functionality and usefulness of human-made objects. So, yung mga minor arts is more of the function. It's not more of the art. Pero sa panahon natin ngayon, hindi na yan true. Magkasama na yan silang dalawa. Okay? Ang tawag natin ngayon dyan is visual arts. So, ito yung mga 7 major arts in Western civilization na madalas makikita, no, sa ating kolehiyo, sa ating pamantasan. We have the visual, performing, and linguistic. We have the painting for the visual, sculpture, or architecture. We have the performing, music, dance, and drama. We have the linguistic or literature. So, try to click this link para maintindihan ninyo yung history behind nung development, no? Bakit nagkaroon ng division ng liberal and servile arts. And itong mga taong ito, no, this group of people, no, gumagawa ng ceramics, weaving, these are what you call minor arts or craft. Now, a good example for that, after watching this link, a good example for that, yung Sistine Chapel na ginawa ni Michelangelo. Okay? So, si Michelangelo ang binigyan ng credit dito. Siya ang ni-recognize. But, hindi lang naman siya ang gumawa niyan. Marami siyang kasamang mga artisans. But they were not given that recognition. So, that's the difference between the artist and artisans. Okay? So, we have finished lesson 2. Now, let's proceed to lesson 3, the humanities and the Filipino personhood or pagkatao. So, makikita ninyo, meron din tayong sariling idea pagdating sa humanities or yung pagkatao. In the Eastern view, we also have that. So we're going to relate the Western concept of humanities with the Filipino notion of pagkatao and then compare and contrast the concept of art according to the Western and Filipino thought. So, meron ditong question, did you know? Based on the picture illustration, how do you explain madali ang maging tao, mahirap magpakatao? So, medyo i-relate natin, dun sa ating lesson. Paano ka naging madali o paano ka matututong magpakatao? Yan. Like for example, this one. So siguro alam natin to na isang mahirap, di ba? So natutulog sa kalsada, madalas nakakita tayo ng ganun. Hindi maliban sa lasing. So etong mga naalala nyo yung magsisimula pala yung yung pagbabakuna, pagtetest ng vaccine, di ba? Mga nauna na dyan, yung mga politiko, yung mga nasa matataas na antas na sa gobyerno natin, sa society natin, di ba? Sila yung mga unang binigyan ng testing or yung vaccine na yon, kasi rampant nung time na yon yung virus na COVID-19. So tama ba na sila yung mauna o yung mga mas nangangailangan na kailangan i-rush o yung mga frontliners? Yan, that's the question. Or the VIP lane, sabi dito. Then, yung training o yung education natin sa pagpaplano ng pamilya. Yan. So, bilang isang pamilya o isang magulang, tama ba ang magkaroon ng maraming anak kahit wala nang maipakain sa anak? So these are questions. Ito naman yung yung influence during 1917 na nakalagay dito. So after World War I, so yung influence ng ibang kultura, the American culture, napunta na sa ating bansa during that time, di ba? We have this culture ng respeto sa kababaihan, pero imagine mo dito sa kabila yung guro habang nagtuturo, mayroong iba't ibang pamamaraan ang mga estudyante. Sa halip na makikinig, yan, may kanya-kanya silang mga ginagawa. Yan. So at least saan dyan yung idea ng mahirap magpakatao. Okay, try to emulate or i-relate nyo lang dito sa mga pictures natin yung idea ng pagpapakatao. Okay, let's go. So ayon kay Kuba, sabi ito, hangarin ng disiplina antropolohiya na pag-aralan ang likas ng tao, kasama na rito ang pagdalumat or what you call conceive or deep thought ng pagkataong Filipino, di gaya ng siyensya na may pretensyong panukat na universal. So pag sinabi mong pagkatao, dito kasi pinapakita sa atin yung yung idea ng Filipino notion of humanity, yung humanhood. Yan, we also have that. Pero yung ating pagkakaunawa sa humanities in our own perspective is different from the Western. Yan. So kung kukunin natin yung humanities sa Latin, English ay humanities sa Filipino is pagpapakatao. Kaya yung tanong kanina doon, how do you explain madali ang maging tao, mahirap magpakatao, is also an answer here, Kasi yung sinabi mong ang katauhan means biological. Okay? Madaling maging tao, mahirap magpakatao, itong pagiging tao o maging tao, yun yung biological. na ikaw ay ipinanganak. Pag sinabi mo naman pagpapakatao o pagpakatao, it is cultural. Becoming a human being is a process of becoming human or personhood. So merong proseso. Meron siyang kung saan siya nakalagay na community sa kanyang kamalayan, doon siya lumalago. Doon siya natututo. Yan. Para maging tao. Like for example, pinanganak ka sa isang lugar na mga mayaman na mga kasama mo. So, yan ang kultura na meron ka. Yan ang pagkatao na meron ka. Kung lumaki ka sa estero, okay, yung mga lugar na kung saan maraming mga away, maraming gulo, yun ang pagkakaunawa mo ng pagkatao. So, mapansin mo yung tanong dito, no? Iba't ibang pamamaraan, no? So, how do you explain it? Yan, at least may idea kung paano siya sasagutin. So, itong Filipino personhood, how does a human being become a Filipino? Ikaw bilang isang Pilipino, paano ka naging Pilipino? So, ito ay inihalin tulad, no, sa Manungguljar na lahat galing sa clay. Sabi nga, both came from clay. Pero, meron siyang tinatawag na labas, loob, and lalim. So, sa idea ng humanity, yung Pilipino na pagkatao, may tinatawag na labas, loob, and lalim. So, mamaya, alamin natin para ipagsama natin yung labas and loob and lalim, no? Pag sinabi mong labas ng pagkatao, sa atin bilang Pilipino, it has something to do with the physical. So, nandiyan yung kulay, nandiyan yung tindig, ilong, okay? Yung lapad or laki, di ba? Pag sinabi mong kulay ng balat, maputi or maitim. Pag sinabi mong tindig, matangkad or pandak. Hindi siya andak, pandak. O pag sinabi mo ilong, physical na ilong, is either na matangos or pango. Or sa dibdib naman, malapad or malaki. Pag sinabi mo namang loob ng pagkatao, it has something to do with the intellectual, emotional, and the moral. So, nandyan yung isip, o nandyan yung talino, ugali, asal, or kabutihan or mabuti. Pag sinabi mo namang lalim ng pagkatao, nandyan naman yung kaluluwa or the spiritual, the conscience, okay? The intangible, yung hindi nakakita. Yan. The belief. Kaya nandyan naman yung anito or banal. So, with regards to labas and loob, these are non-dualistic. So, alam natin yung word na dualistic, di ba? So, hindi sila magkahiwalay, no? Pero meron siyang ibang kahulugan. Kagaya ng matalino, pag sinabi mong malapad ang noo, hindi ibig sabihin malapad ang noo. No? When you say sa labas ay malapad ang noo, ibig lang sabihin nito ay matalino. Yan. Pag sinabi mong salubong ang kilay, hindi physically salubong ang kilay, no? Ibig sabihin matapang o galit. So sa mga salita, sa mga terms, yun ang ano niyan. Yun ang kahulugan niya. Pag sabing mo malagkit ang tingin, umiibig. Pag sinabi mong maduming bibig, sa malalim na kahulugan yun, no? Sa loob niya, no? Yung termino niyan is masamang magsalita. Kung sa lalim naman, malinis ang kaluluwa, sa loob naman ay matuwid ang budhi. Pagdating naman sa Filipino psychology, no, the relation in Filipino psychology, pag sinabi mong sa labas ay hipo, sa loob naman ay dama. Pag sinabi mong pigil, timpi. Yan, these are examples. Pag sinabi mong tawa, tuwa. Pag sinabi mong saya, ligaya. Pag sinabi mong sarap, ginhawa. So, physically nararamdaman mo siya, sarap. At internally naman, no, ginhawa. So, sabi dito sa Filipino, no, when you study art, no, in the study of humanities, as pagpapakatao, the student would discover and realize their own identity as Filipino. So, nakikilala natin yung ating pagiging isang Filipino. So, we can identify ourselves, no? Sabi dito ni De Leon, defining the Filipino through the arts. So, paano natin nakikita ang ating kultura or cultural identity? The worldview and values, belief system and knowledge, skills and practices, core principles and ideas shared by society. So, ito yung cultural identity na isinishare, no, yung values, belief system. Ito ay including the worldview, yung pananaw sa pangkalahatan. Ito ay isinishare na nalalaman, no, na ibabahagi natin sa community natin for the Filipino. Ang sabi dito, cultural identity is a sine qua non for becoming active in the world. It's a must, a source of social empowerment. No? Importante siya. Rob a people of their identity and they become passive, lost, indolent, uncreative, and unproductive. So, mapansin ninyo, kahit minsan gumagaya tayo sa ibang kultura, still our own culture, no? Mahawa man tayo sa kultura ng, like for example, meron tayong mga hinahanga ang mga magagaling na mga umaawit o singer sa ibang bansa. Hindi ibig sabihin pag hinahangaan natin sila ay yung kultura nila nadadala na rin natin, no? Yung identity natin ay nandun pa rin. Kasi importante yan dahil we are active. Yan ang source ng social empowerment. Pero pag inalis mo yung identity, halimbawa, hindi ka na naniniwala sa kultura ng isang Pilipino, yan, nawawala na yung identity mo, yung kultura mo. Kasi merong ibang mga tao na ayaw nilang maging Pilipino kasi ganito ugali nila, mas mabuti pa kami maging ganitong klase ng pagkatao sa ibang bansa. Kasi mas mabuti pa yung kanilang kultura kasi sila ay ganito. Yan. So, yon, nawawala, no? Nawawala yung identity nila. Nagiging passive. But ito ay sinasabi na sa pangkalahatan naman. Okay? Paano nawawala? Okay, paano nawala yan? Sabi nga, the first objective of colonizing power is to erase the cultural memory. Nawawala ito pag nagkakaroon colonization. Nung kinanker tayo ng iba't ibang mga kapangyarihan noon, no, nagkakaroon tayo ng collective amnesia. Okay lang sana kung isa lang pero nagkakaroon ng collective amnesia about their past and supplant it with the culture of the colonizer. In this lie the roots of Filipino derivatives and inferiority complex, vice versa sa West. So, ang problem doon, nagkakaroon ng inferiority. Yan. Parang mas mababa ang tingin natin. During the pre-Spanish time, meron tayong sariling identity natin, no? We have our own cultural identity. Meron nga tayong mga batas noon na umiiral sa iba't ibang mga kapuluan ng ating bansa. But during the colonial time, nawala ito, di ba? It was destroyed by the colonizer with the westernization of the Filipino culture, making us alienated from our own. Pati yung sarili nating salita nawala. We have the baybayin, yung mga sulat baybayin na yan, nawala sa atin yon. And then nagkaroon na lang tayo ng reclamation yan after ng tatlong gera, di ba? We have from the Spanish, we have from the Americans also, no? Short lang yon, short period lang yan. And we have the Japanese, di ba? Nagkaroon sila ng influence sa atin. And then, sa panahon natin ngayon, no, 1950s onward, doon na lang natin nire-reclaim yung identity natin. So, diyan pumapasok yung sariling pantayong pananaw. Yan. Yung pang sarili nating na pananaw. We have our own sets of values, philosophy. Diyan din pumapasok yung idea ngayon na tinatawag natin na pagpakatao. Yung sarili natin Pinoy na Pinoy. Yan. So, yun ang nangyayari, no? Nagkakaroon ng subculture, no? Subordinated. Kung standard yung Western, tayo nagiging substandard. Kung ikaw ay nag-aaral sa rural area, sa university, sa province, ang tingin sa'yo ng mga nasa Manila, medyo mas mababa. Kasi sa province ka galing doon ka nakatapos. Pero kung ikaw ay nasa Manila, kung ikaw ay sa mga ordinaryong university lang, hindi ka galing sa, sabihin natin, sa LaSalle, sa mga kilalang mga university, well, we have Ateneo or University of the Philippines, ano nangyayari doon? Nagiging mas mataas pa rin ang ano nila, yung tingin nila kasi sila ay mas mataas ang kanilang standard. Pero kung ikaw naman, kahit sabihin natin galing ka sa mga schools na yan, pero kung ikaw naman ay hindi graduate sa ibang bansa, like for example sa Harvard University, sa mga prestigious universities sa ibang bansa, parang lalabas ka na rin, na mas mababa or what you call substandard, di ba? Kung sa mga gamit mas mababang quality. Yun minsan ang nangyayari, no? Pag nagkakaroon ng alienation, no? The forms of alienation caused by westernization of Filipino culture. Kaya ano nangyayari doon? Paano nangyayari yun? Because of the alienation from community, alienation from our sources of cultural energy, thinking in borrowed forms and economic and the economics of dependency. So, kung umaasa lang tayo halimbawa sa mga angkat na mga importasyon, kagaya sabihin natin sa bigas, no? Wala tayong sarili nating pinagkukuhaan ng sources na yan, nawawala yung ating sariling cultural energy. Yan, that's one way. Alienation from our race. We have the Doña Victorina syndrome. Yung si Doña Victorina saan ba to? El Filibusterismo? Tama ba? Na siya ay ayaw niyang maisama doon sa pagiging isang Pilipino, or ayaw niyang makonsider siya as Filipino, although Filipina siya, pero kung magsuot siya, no, kung todo paputi, basta wag lang siya ma-distinguish as Filipino. Yan, yun ang kanyang syndrome na yan. Or what you call tayong mga Pilipino, yung tinitignan natin na mas mataas yung nasa ibang bansa kaysa sa atin. Yan. Yun yung mentality na yon. Hindi naman crab mentality ang tawag natin doon. Yung yung may sarili tayong kumbaga meron tayong na kakaroon tayo ng inferiority. Yan. Yung inferiority na kasi nga substandard tayo, hindi kilala tayo. Kaya para hindi tayo ma-associate doon, ayaw natin yung kanilang yung kultura na yan. So yun yung natawag na alienation from our race. And then alienation from indigenous. Yung mga local natin, yung mga nasa local farmers, yung mga indigenous community, yan, we are denigrating. Yung mga pagkain na local, di ba? Isang bagay din yan, yung mga indigenous food. Pagka hindi natin binibigyan ng halaga yan, mas gusto natin yung mga galing sa ibang lugar, sa ibang bansa. We are denigrating the local. Alienation from the land, alienation from being Filipino, ayaw maging Pilipino, alienation from sustainable living. Yan. So these are the forms of alienation. Now, para naman ma-standardize, sabi nga, kailangan natin yung mga yung mga recommendations na to for developing a Filipino and humanistic perspective. So we have number 1, heightening social consciousness and sense of responsibility to the nation. So dapat maging conscious tayo lagi. Maging responsible tayo. Pag may nakita tayo isang bagay na hindi kanais-nais, like for example, corruption, i-report natin yan, no? We are a social conscious people. Yan. Promoting people participation, local genius, and cultural diversity. You promote the local. Maraming genius sa atin, no? Maraming matalino sa atin. So, mabuti meron tayong mga iba't ibang presentation. Like for example, yung mga TV program na yan na na competition, di ba? So these are promoting local genius. And then sa mga cultural diversity, meron naman tayong tinatawag na mga fiesta, di ba? Yung mga presentation na yan, program na yan sa bawat munisipyo, sa bawat barangay. It's a cultural diversity. Number 3 is promoting the local but thinking national or global. So yung mga nananalo halimbawa sa local o yung mga nag-excel sa kanilang contribution sa bansa natin, no? Hindi lamang sila para dito, kundi hanggang din sa ibang bansa. Human communities, not the state, are the ultimate factors in the development process. So sila yung mga community, sila yung tumutulong, no? The community itself, the human community, hindi yung nandun sa pinakamataas o the state or the government. Sila yung nagpupush para itong mga taong ito ay para makatulong sa development. Number 4, integrating the arts to social and cultural phenomena as lucid mirrors of social consciousness. So, importante talaga yung arts. Arts to social and cultural phenomena. So, ano bang mga trending na ginagawa ninyo? Gusto nyong gawin, gusto nyong i-contribute na sariling Pinoy, tayo lang na Filipino ang meron na yan, na kaya natin i-contribute sa hindi lamang sa ating bansa kundi hanggang sa sa global, sa ibang bansa pa. So it becomes a cultural phenomena as a lucid mirrors of social consciousness. So in that way nagiging standard tayo, hindi tayo nagiging substandard. So ano yung character ng isang community, no, na doon nire-reflect yung art? Okay? Sabi nito, the communal character of Philippine traditional cultures as reflected in the arts. Sa atin, ang character natin as Filipino, part of our culture, no? Sabi dito, integration of arts with the other values and functions. Mapapansin niyo na may mga arts tayo na bahagi ng kultura natin na pag-aaralan din natin. Okay, the unity of the arts. Ang mga arts, yung mga likha natin ay hindi lamang sa isang lugar, no? Kalat-kalat yan. May iba't iba at nagkakasundo. Like for example, fiesta. Sa isang probinsya, ito ang piyesta nila, ito ang pamamaraan ng kanilang pag-celebrate. Sa ibang probinsya, ganun din, no? Halos nagkakapareho sila. So there is what you call unity. Number 3, art is integrated with everyday life and not regarded as a separate activity. So, like for example, yung mga paggawa ng mga native materials o indigenous materials or native products na minamarket natin, not just for our fellow Filipino but also for in the international, di ba? Meron tayo niyan, ginagawa na, for example, yung mga basket, we have the tinalak. Yan, these are examples na hindi ito hiwalay, no? It's part of our daily life. Number 4, equality of opportunity for participation in the artistic and creative process. So lahat ay nagkakaroon ng pagkakataon, lahat ay natututo, madaling maturuan, hindi yan tinatago. Paggawa ng basket, yan, pwedeng malaman ng lahat kasi hindi siya parang siya, very common siya, very normal. Kasi lahat naman ginagawa diyan. Like for example, kung ikaw nakatira sa isang lugar na nangangawil ka ng isda, pag tabing dagat ka nakatira, expected na marunong ka rin mangisda kasi diyan ka lang sa tabing dagat, o marunong ka lumangoy, marunong kang magsagwan, marunong kang gumawa ng panghuli na isda. So those are the equal opportunity. Number 5, flexibility of materials, technical and formal requirements. So kung ano yung available sa isang lugar na yan, those are the flexibility of materials, technical and formal requirements. Number 6, use of available resources for artistic creation. Okay, kung ano available resources. And then 7, emphasis on the creative process rather than the finished product. So Yung mga, yung halimbawa, pangingisda, o kaya yung paggawa ng, like for example, yung tinalak na design, no, yung ginagawa sa ano sa Mindanao, sa part ng Cotabato, yung ng mga Tibuli, okay? Yung paggawa noon ay itinuturo yan sa mga anak, sa ng lola, sa anak niya, hanggang sa apo, hanggang sa pinakaapu-apuhan, di ba? It's not on the finished product. Kasi yung proseso ng paggawa, hindi lang sa Mindanao, no? All over the Philippines, may kanya-kanya tayong pamamaraan ng mga indigenous product natin. Simultaneity of conception and realization. So it also adjusts to the present condition. Kung ano yung necessity sa time na yan, doon natin ina-adjust kung kailangan. Okay, sabi dito, becoming Filipino through the arts. The process of pagpapakataon, sabi dito ay the arts can provide us the most vivid images of social relation and cultural values. They are perhaps the most lucid symbol of people, quality of being, or consciousness. Contemplating the arts is like reflecting of the psychic template of the artist or cultural community. So, nandyan yung reflection natin, no, sa cultural values natin, yung arts. It's a reflection of our culture, yung art na ginagawa natin. So these are the most lucid symbol na tayo ay conscious. Kasi hindi namamatay yung ating mga likha na minamana from one generation to another generation. So we are finished in lesson 3. Now let's proceed to lesson 4, the Filipino concept of art. Number 1, discover the Filipino identity to the arts, and number 2, apply the Filipino sense of art in the appreciation of art. So there's a question here. It's not a question. Sabi dito, information ito. Sabi dito, proudly Pinoy. Sino ang hindi nakakain ng taho? Sino ang hindi nakakain ng, actually hindi to faceball, kundi fishball. Yan. Sino ang hindi nakakain ng fishball? Nakakain ng balot. Okay? Ang hindi nakakaalam sa Ginebra San Miguel, di ba? Or La Tondena Distillers Incorporated, yan. So kasi ito, mapansin niyo, ito yung ito yung mga kilala, common, na madalas ginagawa. Like for example, Manny Pacquiao, who is running for president, di ba? So kilala natin yan during the time na siya ay lumalaban sa boxing. Di ba? Tahimik ang buong bansa. Walang malaking krimen o halos walang krimen. Tahimik ang daan ng mga time na yon, di ba? Sino ang hindi nakakaalam dito sa San Lorenzo? Pero ang problema, meron siyang hawak na red horse. Yan. And then, pansinin nyo dito, no? Ang tawag kasi dito ay maangas. Yan, mayabang. This is part of our pride as Filipino. And we are also a nation of possibilities. We are very innovative. Kahit na mga sira na yan, nire-repair pa natin. Meron tayong mga junks na siya sa ibang bansa, pero dito sa atin, pag dinala dito, naayos pa. Ginagawang palamparaan, binibenta pa. Hinahanapan pa ng way para pagkakitaan. So sabi dito, Filipinos are generally innovative, strategic, and imaginative. Kaya mapansin nyo itong isang art na to. Kala mo, actually parang robot siya, di ba? Pero siya ay galing sa junks. Together with our innate adaptability, we can adjust to any situation, make use of resources at hand, and create something from nothing. So, nakakagawa tayo niyan. So, ang sabi nga dito, only in the Philippines. So, this is a phrase. Minsan, ito ay isang expression of sometimes of frustration, exasperation, about the situation in the Philippines, maybe because of corruption or unjust or simply not good enough. It's only in the Philippines. But sometimes, it's also what? Doon lang din nakikita, no? Like for example, yung Christmas, no? We have our preparation of Christmas starts from September. Magsimula na ang bear. 'Di ba? So it's only in the Philippines. Sa ibang bansa, they start that during the time of December. Pero sa atin, basta nagsimula na ang bear. Okay? Pagdating sa boxing, di ba kanina, imagination and votes meet who will be the next president. Okay? Yun ang kultura na meron sa atin, no? We have that kind of culture na atin lang talaga. Maganda man siya o hindi, major man siya o hindi, sabi nga dito. So this is the diversity, the richness and diversity of our culture. And it becomes also our pride and sometimes our frustration. And both are necessary elements to motivate us in steering our nation into brighter, peaceful, and just future. So these are just two sides of the coin. Baga, may maganda, meron din siyang pangit, no? Only in the Philippines. Like for example, yung corruption, yun yung siyang pangit. Pero we are a very friendly nation, di ba? The most hospitable nation in the world. And yet, the most corrupt. See? So this is the other side of the coin. Now let's go dito sa sa Western and the Filipino concept ng art, no? So dito sa idea last time, no, when you say academic art or art academic arts in the Western concept sa academic, we have this elitist and the hierarchical, no? Yung mga nakatapos lang, only schooled people are artists. They are meant for the higher social class. So, ito yung mga verses niya. It's either high or low, major art or craft, fine arts, or practical, folk, or indigenous. Sa Pilipino, walang ganon. Walang ganong distinction. So, tayo mga Pinoy, hindi tayo nagkaroon ng mga ganong schooling. Lahat itinuturo. Lahat isinasalin. Hindi lang para sa isa, kundi para sa lahat. So, sa panahon noon, kung titignan natin, although we were influenced by the Westerners during the Spanish time, we have here Damian Domingo, who was known as the father of Philippine painting, because during that time, sumikat na yung arts. So, siya ay isa sa mga kilalang Filipino artist na nagpalawak ng sining, ng paglikha sa ating bansa, no? He is the son of a Chinese immigrants na naging Kristiyano, and ang tingin sa kanya noon as a noble Spanish descent. And he was commissioned to paint. And then eventually, siya ay nag-create ng isang art school. Ang pangalan ay Escuela de Dibujo y Pintura sa Tondo, Manila in 1821. Dahil sa kanyang kagalingan, no, sa kanyang pagiging isang artist. Pero na-envision niya kasi na pati yung mga Filipino matuto din. Yan, kasi syempre, the influence of the Westerners during the Spanish time is global din. Nakikisunod sa trend kung sa panahon natin ngayon. So, tayo, we have also to adapt the idea at kung kaya ba natin makisabay sa kanilang trend or technology they have before. So, siya ngayon ay naging professor and director ng Philippine Art Academy. Nang mamatay siya, namatay din yung academy na yun, no? Sinara din. Pero because of him, marami siyang natulungan ng mga Filipino. Wala kasing wala kasing pinipili o walang sinisinong mga Indio or mga Filipino noong time na yon. Lahat ay welcome para dun sa school na yon. And this is some of his painting. Kung hindi sa kanya, hindi natin malalaman ito pala yung mga estilo ng pananamit ng mga tao during 1800s or 1821, during that time. Kaya mapansin niyo yung Yung titinda ng isda, o kung ikaw lang sa bahay, ito ang suot mo. Yan, mahilig tayo sa checkered. O may mga plain din. Ito yung mga style ng mga damit noon. I think may mga pagkakataon na ito bumabalik yung mga ganitong mga mga style ng damit sa mga lalaki. Pero yung mga dobling yung may pangalawang damit na nilalagay, no? Tapis bang lagay diyan? Para sa mga babae naman. Okay. May pangalawang sapin sila. So, at least we have the idea na we have this Filipino artist na tumulong para makipagsabayan tayo. So, isa sa mga halimbawa is Juan Luna. Nag-aral siya sa kanyang Bachelor of Arts degree sa Ateneo Municipal de Manila ng Fine Arts, and then nag-aral din siya sa Europe noong 1877 sa Escuela de Bellas Artes de San Fernando, and then nung nagkaroon ng competition nanalo din siya noong 1884. So how many long years na yun ang difference no? During 1821, almost more than 60 years. Yung kanyang painting, ang title is Spolarium, at siya ay nakilala. So meron din siyang ibang mga artwork kagaya ng La Batalla de Lepanto and El Pacto de Sangre, because he was commissioned by the Spanish government to do that. Okay, so ito yung life work ni Juan Luna. Yan. Yung kanyang Spolarium na pinanalo niya ng gold medal. And we also have Felix Hidalgo, who won the silver medal during that time also, na ang title is Virgines Christiana Expuestas al Populacion. Yan, ito ay mga neoclassical. Kasi nagkaroon ng neoclassical during that time, no, yung mga style ng artwork, style ng mga painting during his time. So ito yung mga sikat na style ng mga artwork. Kaya nga sabi ni Rizal sa kanyang speech ay malaki ang naiambag ni Luna and Hidalgo, na sila ay parang anong sabi dito? Sila ay nagliliwanag sila ang nagpakilala ng Pilipino sa buong mundo. Yan. Illuminates two extreme of the global and the Orient and the Occident. Yung Orient, yung Philippines, na yung Occident is sa Spain. Yan. Two luminous arch that rises from either region to blend there on high to unite two peoples with eternal bonds. Yan. So nakita ninyo yung speech ni Rizal regarding sa kanilang dalawa. Sabi nga niya dito, genius has no country, genius bursts forth everywhere. So yung ating pambansang bayani, yun ang kanyang kanyang binigay na pagpapakilala or pagkilala sa mga kilalang mga artist nung time na yon na ipinakilala ang ating bansa. At ito naman si Luna, gumawa naman siya ng isang artwork na pinagsama ang Philippine art and Western art. Kaya ang tawag dito is España y Filipinas. Kaya mapansin mo dito sa left side yung babae Western, yung babae sa right side is Eastern. One positive way of looking at Filipino identity in the arts is to see Philippine arts as integrated in Western art, and these two traditions are uniting and harmonizing with one another. Because tayo were colonized, no? So the identity that we have is not that too distinguished. Kaya sa idea ni Luna is what? Magkaroon ng integration. That's why mapansin niyo sa time ngayon, no, ito yung mga artists from different periods, from 1933, 1978, no, iba't ibang style art ng artworks nila. Pero ito naman ay galing din sa mga philosophy, sa style ng artwork ng mga kilalang artists sa iba't ibang larangan. Sa West, we have the Cubism, we have the Romantic Realism, we also have this Surrealism, we have the Neoclassicism. Yan. So these are style of arts. We also have this Filipino artist Gus Albor. Yan, yung color field painting during World War II. Tama ba ako? And we also have Hoya, or the action painting, or abstract expressionism. Yan. And then we also have this artwork, no, na nakadikit na ito sa ating kultura. Yan, embedded in our culture. Yung mga indigenous arts na yan, we have the Tinalak, the Vinta from the Badjao. We have the Basi from Samar, yung mga banig nila yan, colorful mats. We have the Okir from the Maranao art. We have the Pastillas, wrapper art of Pampanga and Bulacan. And we also have this Sarimanok design ng mga Maranao. Turogan, we have the Pasiking from the Ifugao. Ito yung mga backpack na ginagamit ng mga estudyante nun. Sa ngayon hindi na masyadong uso, pero still ginagamit pa rin as part of the regalo, pasalubong. We have the Maranao brassware, the Lingling, the Burnay jars of Ilocos, and the Bulul. A very familiar design, no, na ginagamit sa bahay, the Bulul. But it is an Igorot art. We also have the lanterns made of kapis. And then we have jeepney arts, colorful arts ng mga piyesta from the Pahiyas of Lukban, Quezon. We also have this kalesa, very colorful. Then Taka, this is an art from Paite, Laguna. And then tricycle. Siguro naman walang lugar sa Pilipinas na walang tricycle, no? Halos lahat may tricycle. So very colorful. So these are arts na makikita sa ating bansa. We have the Lahi of Ivatan as their literature and music. Okay? Sinakulo. We have the Passion during mahal na araw. Try to click all these links para mapanood niyo yung Dayaw. Okay? Try to watch this. When you say Dayaw, it means it's a Binisaya word that means good, valuable, superior, or beautiful. Ang host nito is Senator Loren Legarda. It has something to do with the pride of our culture, especially the indigenous people of the Philippines. So, ang sabi dito, the principle of cultural identity does not mean that culture cannot be criticized. Meron din talagang weak points, no, ang kultura. If all cultures on earth are to survive, most of them have to change some of their beliefs and practices in order to become compatible with one another. So, minsan kailangan natin makipag-compromise, no, sa kanilang kultura, sa ibang kultura, para tayo makasurvive. Kasi the world is ever changing. So, hindi pwede yung kultura ng sinaunang-una pa nun ay i-adapt pa natin. Kasi, meron siyang weakness, no? That's why nakikriticize din siya. The Philippine culture has to be dynamic in its relation with other cultures in the world by harmonizing the Western and the Filipino concept of art and its practice. A truly Philippine identity in the arts would emerge out of the shared culture universe, not only of our own people but of the humanity as a whole. Kaya nga, sa ating pag-aaral ng ating mga modules, makikita ninyo na yung inyong mga activities dyan is westernized pero with Filipino concept din, no? Free kayo to create your own concept. although the philosophy behind came from the West, but still, po pwede kang maging creative in your own perspective as a Filipino. So, dynamic kasi ang kultura din natin bilang Pilipino. Yan, we have to harmonize it with the West. So, yun ang identity natin sa panahon ngayon. So, these are the assignments that you have, no? These are the analysis, assessment, and reflection. And these are the questions that we have seen last time sa iba't ibang lessons. Try to answer this in a minimum of 50 words. And you have your first assignment or activity. This is your activity. Try to download this document and then try to describe the artwork, the artifact na inyong makukuha. Okay, you write your name, course and section and date, and then try to describe, no, what's the name of it, the color, composition. May say composition, kung ano ang yari niya, di ba? Composition, dimension, kung anong sukat niya, and other information, like for example, the history behind why is it created. And try to answer the essay, how does this product or artifact express the Filipino concept of art? So, nung ginawa yung mga artifact, when you say artifact, we're talking about yung mga basket, yung mga minana natin sa ating mga ninuno. Like for example, we have the tinalak. Ano yung nakikita nyo dyan sa inyong bahay? Yung bang bunot, is it part of the artifact, yung bang walis, di ba? So, tignan ninyo, no? Kung wala kayong makita sa dito sa mga bentahan ng mga pasalubong, po pwedeng makikita nyo rin yan sa loob ng bahay. Lalagay yung bilao. Yan, those are artifacts that was handed down from generation. Minana yan. Yung bayuhan, that's part of the artifact also. Wag na yung wala yung mga ano diyan, yung mga pictures, wala yung mga paintings. Hindi yan kasama sa artifact na ilalagay ninyo. Yung mga handmade na ginawa ng mga tao, yung tawag nating handicraft. Okay, so sabi dito, along the sidewalks or local shop, find a native Philippine product or work of art such as basket, bracelet, hat, drugs, textiles, sandals, and others. Make a documentation of the artifact. Kuhaan nyo siya ng picture, dito nyo sa ilalagay sa part na ito. And then, you don't need to buy it, o pwedeng i-skip nyo yan. Skip nyo yan. Ano ang local name niya? What is it made of? So, yun ay tinatawag na composition. And then, its color and size, and other information. Write one paragraph essay answering the question, how does the product or the artifact express the Filipino concept of art? So, use the document or the paper provided for this activity. So, submit nyo yan. May deadline yan na makikita nyo naman sa inyong classwork. So, these are the rubrics. Try to look on the rubrics every time na meron kayong assignment or activity. So, dito ninyo i-gauge kung ano ang hinihingi para kayo makakuha ng mataas na score or perfect score. So, also with your activity, nandiyan yung kanyang rubrics. So, that's the end of our lecture for Module 1. So, after this, you're going to have your test for Module 1. Thank you for your listening.